Hey yo, what up to the Retain gang? It's your boy Bushle. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel, and please drop down a comment below on what you guys want me to talk about on more of my semen retention videos, and what experiences have I had on semen retention. So as like I'm recording this video right now, there's just something that just came up to me that I really wanted to talk about, especially something that I've noticed amongst the semen retention communities, especially bros who are actually like wanting to be part of like the semen retention community, and those who are new into the practice, especially even I myself. I'm actually new to this practice, and maybe at some point I did have this state of mind about going to semen retention for this singular purpose. But the more I started retaining, the more I started opening up and realizing, what, let me use like the practice of semen retention for the purpose of investing more into my own financial life, into more into my own physique, more into my own intelligence, and improving my own craft, and also starting this YouTube channel. And the one thing that I'm gonna talk about is actually female attraction. Like, bros, there's something that I'm noticing amongst certain YouTube video comments, certain social media groups. Whenever it comes to the semen retention communities, they're literally bros who are actually going into the practice for the purpose of female attraction. And at some point, I wouldn't say it's a bad thing, but what I could say is that you're actually going into a powerful practice for the wrong reasons. Because at the end of the day, we all know it takes so much time, energy and attention to invest into one female, into making that one girl like you, into maintaining a relationship with that one girl, and making her reach up to the point where she wanna smash with you. Of course, any lucky guy, idiot out there can just get coached at the end of the day. Even I myself, even if I'm not really good with females, I've had my own struggles when it comes to females. I've been friend zoned, I've been rejected, I've had my own hard times when it comes to females. But at the end of the day, I had my own lucky moments where I've gotten coached. But one thing that I realized, as soon as I got what I wanted from some females, I definitely feel so fucking depleted. I'd feel much more worse than I was even before I got coached from a girl. I definitely feel much more in sorrow. I'd feel much more sad. I'd feel much more depressed than I actually was even before. And I noticed my energy level would definitely be so depleted. And I realized that even my own brain, there's a whole lot of fog that actually happens. And I realized that whenever I just slept with a girl, the next day I noticed that some of the things that I internally process within me, they're not really my own internal conflicts. They're not really my own internal issues and my own internal wounds. Because there's certain things that I realize that I do not relate to, but since I slept with this other girl, there's certain things that just come up to the surface within me. And at that point, I did not really know anything that has to do with soul ties. I didn't know about anything that has to do with the fact that our aura and souls and electromagnetic fields become merged into one during the act of engaging in sexual activity. And at that point, I wasn't really aware of this. And yeah, of course, I don't have a large roster when it comes to females. I'll be honest with you. But one thing I could say is that for bros who are going into the practice of semen retention just for female attraction, you're going into the practice for wrong reasons. Because at the end of the day, whether you deplete yourself through using your hand, or you deplete yourself through engaging in sexual act with a female, at the end of the day you go back to that vicious cycle. Because we all know that your bone marrows, your cerebrum fluid in your spine, even your zinc, even the spermidine, and also some of your brain cells, and also your blood cells, and there's so many physiological things that happen to you on the internal level whenever you release. Even a fabric of your own consciousness, a fabric of your own energetic blueprint, a fabric of your own DNA, and a fabric of your entire being itself becomes detached from you. It's literally become ejaculated out of you the moment you release your seed. So you get depleted at the end of the day, and you go back to the same vicious cycle that you tried to get yourself out of before you even started practicing semen retention. And like, if ever like you're someone maybe who has never like engaged in sexual act with a girl, or maybe you're someone who's had, but maybe like you're someone who has struggles with, just like me, at some point, yeah, I do understand, like, as a bro, you do want females around you at some point in life, but using this practice, powerful, creative life force energy that you're literally cultivating and refining and harnessing within you, all for the purpose of wanting, like, to attract females in life, is definitely like a reason that I really think it's literally like simpy, honestly speaking, because there's so many creative outlets you can use for this energy, rather than just thinking about females, rather than just wanting to attract females in your life. Because at the end of the day, they're going to deplete you. They do not give an F about you. They do not really care about who you are. They do not really care about like anything that has to do with who you are as an individual. As long as you come up to them, you entertain them, you give them a good dopamine hit, you give them a good emotional mental roller coaster, and you make them forget about all of their own internal conflicts, their own internal issues, and their own problems. They just use you as just someone who's just gonna be there to pass time by. And also, whenever like when a female gets access to your seed, like, there's definitely some benefits that she gains from getting your own seed, especially if ever you nut, whether you don't nut into her, but the fact that your own electromagnetic field was submerged with her at the moment you were engaging in sexual act, the fact that your own soul and her own soul will literally attach even your own etheric body, like, all of that information that exists within you becomes transferred into her. And the moment that you release, that energy is not distributed within your body, it just goes out externally. So at some point, there's certain things that she's gonna benefit from actually making you nut your seed, from making you release your own semen. And at the end of the day, you're the one who's gonna go back to the same vicious cycle. You're the one who's gonna get depleted. Even if the physical sensation, the physical pleasure, it was good, it was just a short moment of dopamine, and like, it was just that physical animalistic flesh instinct that was just, like, feeding you like this sensation. But at the end of the day, bro, you'll learn to realize it's not really worth it. And especially these bros who are literally bragging on like this social media like platforms, telling people that they have 1,000 rosters when it comes to females. Like, bro, how many incubus and succubus have you like intertwined with? Like, how many, like, a part of who you are literally went into 1,000 females? Just think about that for a moment, because this seed, this semen itself, it's literally your own creative life force. It's literally your own drive. It's actually like a part of who you really are as a man. It's literally your own testosterone. And the fact that you're literally bragging that you literally like sent it to 1,000 females, that on its own definitely shows that you're a lustful person. And this has nothing to do with being envious and being jealous of a guy who has 1,000 streaks on females, who has 1,000 rosters. It has nothing to do with that. This has to do with understanding the fact that the matrix definitely like lied to us as males. It definitely lied to us the fact that it's normal for us males to chase so many females and girls and just deplete our own sexual energy, to deplete our own creative life force, instead of redistributing this energy within our own entire being, within using this energy to use it to create certain things in our own life. Because sexual energy is a creative intelligence. It is a creative force. If it can bring a human into existence, then why couldn't it bring certain things that have to do with your own life into existence? Because this is an creative intelligence that you could use for certain creative outlets. That's why I've been actually using this energy to invest more time on recording these videos. I've been going to the gym more often, and there are certain skills that I've been teaching myself on how to make money, and I've been reading books more, and I realized that my own intuition, like my own faculties on the intelligent level, has actually expanded, and I have more mental focus and clarity ever since I started retaining. And we all know, like, even like the most prominent figures within like the new world and also within the old world, they all say like semen retention definitely has its own benefit. Retaining and cultivating and refining this energy within us, within our own gonads as men, definitely has so many positive effects. There are actually more pros than cons in actually retaining your own seed. The only cons are actually in like, you know, retaining your seed. It's that it makes you see through the illusions. It makes you see beyond the deception. It makes you see beyond what is hidden, like within the mask of so many individuals. It's like you see the reality for what it is. You see the illusions for what they are. You see the matrices, whatever like you wanna say it, because there's a different levels and the different dimensions when it comes to the matrix. It exists as a multi-dimensional illusions, the matrix. So the thing is, our semen is our most powerful fluid in our body, because it's literally a seed that gives birth to life. It's literally a seed that can create things in life. And if ever you're going into the practice of retaining your own seed for attracting females, then you're just going to go back to the same vicious cycle. And at some point, you all know, like, there's a whole lot of neurological text, there's a whole lot of physiological text, there's a whole lot of energetic text, there's a whole lot of spiritual text that actually comes with releasing your seed, because there's a whole lot of interdimensional beings and entities within the astral realm that definitely siphon your energy, whenever you're releasing. They're actually beings and entities like who are actually getting fueled by these promiscuous behaviors and activities that we as individuals are engaging in without being consciously aware of it. Especially bros are literally just like releasing their seed unconsciously. Of course, even I myself, I made this mistake for the last couple of 6 years, but now this is something I'm definitely willing to improve, since like, you know, like I'm seeing the truth of what it really means to be a man, what it truly means to embody testosterone, what it truly means to live a life of chastity, what it truly means to actually protect myself from the energy and like from the forces of lust. Because most men, they're literally driven by lust. Most men have been programmed and indoctrinated and been like conquered by this energy and the force of lust. And bro, if ever like you're wanting to attract females only whenever you're on semen retention, it doesn't change the fact that you're also part of like the individuals who are like destroying the collective conscious of humans, because we all know like sexual energy has a much more bigger impact on the social energy. And like you can go to so many studies, you can go to so many research and so many sources and look at like how sexual energy has a crucial role when it comes to the social spaces, when it comes to the social collective consciousness, when it comes to like the spiritual warfare that is happening within like this Aquarius age, and the warfare that has always been there for eons. Bro, your seed is literally entirely part of who you are as a man. It's literally your own masculinity, it's your own testosterone. And if ever you're just willing to like deplete this energy at some point just for the purpose of wanting to attract females, then I don't know, like I don't really think you should go into this practice anyway. Maybe you can just go like to a local tavern and go drink alcohol and just go like party and like just go to like low vibrational places where you're gonna find low vibrational females who are just gonna like, you know, take them and do whatever like thing that you gotta do with them. Or even if you do attract a female, and at some point maybe you're not even investing more time into yourself, but you're more caring about how many females are you gonna attract as the more you go on this streak, then you're just gonna deplete yourself at the end of the day. Because once some females, they get what they want from you, they'll definitely leave you like that, because they're actually YouTubers who are practicing semen retention, who have actually made it clear that the moment that you release your seed, there are actually girls out there who just literally like mind their own business, and as if like they even never engaged with you. Bro, use this creative life force for everything else in your life. Don't use it like for female attraction, because of course whenever like you're refining your own semen, you're refining and alchemizing this energy into its highest energetic potential, and let it permeate within your own aura, within your own energy, within your own nervous system, letting it circulate throughout your entire being. Of course you're gonna attract things in your life. Of course you're gonna be more noticeable in the spaces and in the environment that you're in. Of course people might notice you, even females themselves, but don't fall into the concept that just because now they're looking at you, and at some point of course there will be others who are going to be envious and jealous of you, because they will start noticing there's something different about you that they don't commonly notice or feel about you. But to those who notice you at some point, my advice is don't fall into it. Like, just don't fall into it, like, because you're gonna put yourself into it, then you're gonna use your own time, energy and attention on just that one female who you just noticed was just looking at you, and then maybe you do maintain your relationship until the point where you get to smash. Then what? She takes your seed, she takes everything that you've accumulated, takes everything that you've cultivated as the more time you're gonna retain. Unless if you're someone who's engaging in non-ejaculatory tantric S3X, and even if you know how to engage in non-ejaculatory tantric S3X, it doesn't mean that each and every single female that's gonna come across you on semen retention, you should engage with them whenever it comes to do with the tantric act. Like, tantra should be used for those distinct females who are gonna be a part of your own life, females who have more brains than beauties. Of course they gotta be beautiful, like the females that you gotta attract, but like you gotta like attract females who have more brains and less beauty at some point, because even if the beauty is there, but if ever like you're attracting a type of female who has more beauty and less brains, who really cares more about the physical body, about the materialistic aspects, who cares more about like her ego, she cares more about the competition that, you know, she's actually like wanting to get from actually being with you, because she knows that if ever like, you know, she gets to spend her own time with you, that some girls will also notice, and this gonna like cloud her ego at some point, because this is what 97% of women are actually doing in this modern day era, because like they are literally like the number one weapon that the matrix is using against so many things. That's why you're gonna realize that there is actually so much female validation that most men are commonly chasing nowadays. There's so much female validation that is actually promoted amongst like masculine social groups, that if ever you're not someone, you know, like who's validated by so many females in a certain way, if girls don't view you in a certain way, then you just know there's an issue with you, there's a problem about you, then you're just not doing whatever you have to do, you're not doing what it takes. There's a whole lot of distortions and confusion when it comes to like the female dynamics, when it comes to the female paradigms. So, and that's why you also notice that even the rise of feminism. Bros, like females definitely have their own internal things that they gotta deal with, and as long as we're feeding them like our own seed, we're giving them the ideal notion that we as men, we cannot conquer our own lust, we cannot conquer our own animalistic desire, our own animalistic pleasure, our own animalistic instinct to procreate. Even if nowadays we're no longer like just engaging in the sexual act for procreating, we're just using it just to consciously fulfill our own fleshly desires and pleasure that comes with the sexual act. Because truth of the matter, sexual act was only used for procreation, and if ever you're not procreating with this energy, then you're using it as a creative outlet towards certain things in your life, not just to casually engage in illicit S3X, not to engage in it within watching porn, watching certain things that are really unnecessary, like constantly smoking and drinking and going to party and literally doing all of these lower vibrational activities and destructive habits that literally gonna deplete this creative life force. Because at the end of the day, if we as men, we do not like change the way we think, we do not change the way we control our own sexual energy, our own creative life force, then females are just gonna use whatever they notice from majority of men who've never been taught about anything that has to do with creativity, that hasn't to do with exploring their own sexuality beyond the physical aspects, beyond the physicality. Then more and more females are definitely gonna use this in a much more destructive way, because it's all up to us as male to do better when it comes to our own seed, when it comes to our own semen, when it comes to our own creative intelligence, when it comes to our own creative life force. So bro, if you're practicing semen retention, don't do it for the purpose of female attraction. Of course, you might attract females in your life and there's nothing wrong about that, but it shouldn't be the reason why you're engaging in this practice, because one way or another you're going to go back to those destructive habits. Because once you start retaining and cultivating and alchemizing this energy, then you attract the females. Maybe you're going to attract females who are materialistic, promiscuous, females who just going to siphon you in each and every single way possible, and as soon as they get your seed, then they're just going to like leave you, and you're just going to be saying, you know what, F this semen retention thing, F whatever like this semen retention community is saying, because I've done semen retention and I did that and that, and like I haven't seen any difference in my life. Because bro, you're literally trying to go into a sacred, powerful, energetic practice for the intention of wanting to get TTs, for the intention of wanting to get coach, and bro, it ain't really worth it. And bro, and trust me, at some point you're gonna attract females, but you're just gonna realize that it's not really gonna be as worth it as much as like you really think it's gonna be worth it. Because at the end of the day, these females do not really care about us. The only thing you should ever care about is making money, is investing into your own mental health, investing into your own soul, investing into your own goals and passion, investing into your own portion physique, investing into like your own time, energy and attention into creating the greatest peak and version of yourself. And this creative life force energy that you're retaining, that you're cultivating and refining, has the capability of doing that. So bro, if ever you're in semen retention and you're literally doing this for female attraction, I really think you should actually like try to, you know, like try to self-reflect and meditate on that, and try to like see the perspective of what I'm saying. Because if ever you're gonna go into this practice for the purpose of doing that, then you shouldn't even consider going to this practice. So yeah, that's all I just wanted to say in this video. So yeah, if ever like there's anything y'all wanna ask me, anything that y'all wanna say, you can just drop down a comment below and say something within the inbox, and I'll see ya in the next videos.